Josh Allen might be the face of the Buffalo Bills, but the city's newest star is rising from frozen ground. Literally, a $2.2 billion fortress designed to survive the harshest winters in football. Let's explore this massive stadium, shall we? When you think of NFL stadiums, you might picture the glitz of Las Vegas or the sun-drenched fields of Miami, but Buffalo is a whole different story. Here, snowstorms are measured in feet, winds hit hurricane force, and temperatures drop to levels that test even the toughest fans. Yet right in the middle of all that chaos, engineers are building one of the most advanced sports structures on the planet. This new Highmark Stadium is not just another sports venue, it is a bold statement of identity. Buffalo's weather has always been part of its story, part of its pride. So instead of hiding from it, the Bills are building a stadium that embraces the cold head on. What they are creating is a mix of architecture, resilience, and football tradition unlike anything in the NFL. Every new subscriber is basically a raffle ticket. Subscribe, and boom, you're entered. Construction began with one enormous question. How do you build something this massive in a place where winter shuts everything down for months? Most stadiums get 12 months of work time. Buffalo gets maybe 7. Every day counts, every delay costs millions, and every snowstorm threatens to push the finish line further away. It is a race against both time and nature. The plan calls for the stadium to be substantially complete by July 2026, just in time for the new season, but construction crews will still be working on smaller details like paint, signage, and wall finishes well into December. So when fans pour into the stands that summer, they will be cheering inside a stadium that is technically unfinished, and that detail says everything about how complex this project really is. You cannot talk about complexity without talking about the weather. Buffalo's climate does not just make the construction tough, it shapes the entire design. This is not Las Vegas, where the challenge is heat management. This is about surviving ice, wind, and snow that can weigh hundreds of pounds per cubic yard. Engineers had to rethink every inch of structure, from the roof to the foundations. At the heart of the design is what Bills officials proudly call the largest snowmelt system in the world. Forget simple heated sidewalks. This is an entire thermal network embedded across the structure. It warms entryways, stairs, concourses, and even hidden areas beneath the seats. The goal is simple. No matter how hard it snows, the stadium stays clear, safe, and functional. But snow removal is only part of the puzzle. The exterior of the stadium uses special prefabricated concrete panels designed to look like traditional brick. They connect Buffalo's industrial heritage with modern engineering. Each panel has a hidden insulation layer that traps warmth and resists moisture, allowing the stadium to handle brutal freeze-thaw cycles without cracking. The steel framework behind those panels expands and contracts with temperature shifts, something traditional masonry cannot do. That canopy deserves its own spotlight. Covering nearly 2/3 of the seats, it creates a unique mix of open-air football and sheltered comfort. Engineers studied airflow patterns around the stadium for months, simulating how snow and wind would behave during Buffalo's worst storms. They designed the canopy not just to block snow, but to redirect it, using natural wind currents to keep the field clear. The result is a structure that almost plays with the weather instead of fighting it. Of course, all this innovation comes at a price. The original budget was around $1.4 billion. Now the total is closer to $2.2 billion. The Pegula family, who own the Bills, are on the hook for every dollar over the original number. That means they have already absorbed more than $700 million in overruns. Most owners would panic at that kind of bill. But for Buffalo's billionaire power couple, this is about more than money. It is about legacy. Their financial gamble becomes even more impressive when you compare it to other NFL projects. The Raiders finished Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas under budget at $2 billion. The Rams and Chargers share SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, which ballooned to $5.5 billion but doubles as a commercial complex. Buffalo's stadium, by contrast, serves one team in one of the smallest markets in the league. No extra shopping centers, no giant entertainment district, just football. And yet this stadium's impact might reach further than any of them, because what happens here could redefine how cold weather franchises approach construction in the future. Economists who study sports facilities say it flat out. Building in the north costs more, takes longer, and requires constant adaptation. Structural loads, insulation, and material choices are all dictated by the environment. In warm climates, units, you worry about shade. In Buffalo, you worry about roofs collapsing under snow. At 10,000 subscribers, one of you is getting a brand new iPad, but only subscribers get picked. Don't be the one who misses out. The implications stretch beyond the Bills. Cities like Cleveland and Chicago are already studying Buffalo's model as they plan their own billion-dollar upgrades. They want to know what works, what fails, and how much the weather really costs. For them, Buffalo has become the proving ground for modern cold-weather stadiums. That experiment, however, is not just about engineering, it is about timing. Because with winters cutting the build window nearly in half, construction schedules have to be orchestrated with military precision. Every phase depends on hitting microscopic deadlines before the snow returns. The crews work around the clock, pouring foundations and setting steel before the freeze sets in. Miss a week and you lose a month, and that rhythm will continue until the last beam is set. If you drive past the construction site today, you will see 4 towering cranes marking the skyline. They have already moved more than 400,000 cubic yards of dirt and drilled almost 800 foundation piers. Those numbers sound abstract until you realize that every inch has to be designed to withstand decades of frost heave. The soil in Buffalo expands and contracts with every winter cycle. If the engineers get it wrong, the whole structure could shift or crack. So each foundation pier is reinforced and insulated like a mini fortress of its own. The attention to detail extends right down to the fan experience. The stadium is designed for about 62,000 seats, slightly smaller than its predecessor but far more efficient. That reduction allows for better sight lines and a closer feel to the game. The steep seating angle means even fans in the last row are 54 feet closer to the field than before. Every concession, restroom, and hallway was positioned outward to create full circular concourses where fans can walk around the stadium without losing sight of the action. Outside, the landscape blends art and functionality. A new plaza called the Family Circle will greet visitors with sculptures of American bison, a nod to both local heritage and team identity. Heated walkways and radiant pavement will keep paths clear through even the toughest snowstorms. It is part practicality, part pride, and entirely Buffalo. Financially, the deal behind the project stirred plenty of debate. Roughly half of the funding comes from taxpayer money, about $600 million from New York State and $250 million from Erie County. Critics called it one of the least favorable deals for taxpayers in the country. But for state officials, losing the Bills to another city was not an option. The team had already floated the idea of moving to Austin, Texas if an agreement was not reached. So when the deal finally went through, it was seen less as a handout and more as a rescue mission to keep Buffalo's football heart beating. But the most controversial design choice of all, the stadium will not have a roof. That means no Super Bowls, no indoor events, and no escaping the legendary blizzards. To outsiders, it seems like a mistake. To Buffalo fans, it is tradition. They see the cold as part of their identity, a competitive advantage that no dome could replace. Snowy games in Buffalo are not inconveniences. They are iconic moments. That identity shaped everything about the architecture, the materials, the lines, the textures, all designed to echo the city's industrial grit while embracing new technology. Even the lighting design reflects Buffalo's dual nature. During the day, the stadium glows in neutral tones against the winter sky. At night, it comes alive in electric blue and red, cutting through the dark like a beacon. Beyond the spectacle, the real story here is resilience. This project has endured delays, budget hikes, and harsh weather conditions, but it keeps moving forward. Each winter storm that passes over the site is a reminder of why the stadium is being built this way. The same conditions that make Buffalo tough are the same ones that make this project special. As the steel rises and the snow melts off the beams, you get the sense that Buffalo's new home is not just being constructed, it is being forged. Forged by cold, by persistence, and by the spirit of a city that refuses to quit. The engineers call it an architectural challenge. The fans call it a long overdue upgrade. Either way, it stands as a symbol of what happens when determination meets design. The Bills' new stadium is not only about comfort or spectacle, it is a statement about what it means to belong to a place that defines itself through hardship. Every heated walkway, every insulated wall, and every snow-resistant beam tells that story. When it opens, it will not just be a place to watch football. It will be living proof that Buffalo can build something extraordinary right where most people said it could not be done. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching till the end. What do you think about this new stadium? Tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video.